I know you've been waiting for it. What's up? I got to laugh already. Norm and Mike, this is the Leafs Convo for Oak Ridge Ford in London, Ontario. OakRidgeFord.com. All kinds of new inventory on the ground right now, especially Ford Escape. I have a great lease deal on this terrific small SUV, all-wheel drive, Ford Copilot Assist, plus a $199 biweekly plus tax over 60 months. Get at me at I am Norman James or at Norm at Oak Ridge Ford. Mr. Augello, good evening. We are in a position once again where we could witness the Maple Leafs end this first round futility. They are up 3-2 on those dastardly Tampa Bay Lightning after winning 4-3 at Scotiabank Arena last night to set themselves up to be in this position. Leafs Nation, the converts and OGs who are reaching out to us today and right now in the chat, many of them are extremely excited. Many of them coming at me with a toe-to-so, a toe-to-so. And Mike, I guess anyone, confronting you with the, well, see, we told you so. Your answer would be?
The series is not over yet.
Don't show me.
Right. It's like, I mean, okay. Game 5 was a pivotal game in this series. The Leafs, in the first 20 minutes, were comatose, did not show up, were completely outplayed. Okay. It took Jason Spezza making a speech in between periods to get their head out of their ass.
You know what he said?
No, he didn't. He's going to keep that between him and the team. Okay. That's not the point. The point is he had to say something. He had to, I'm sure it wasn't a Herb Brooks rah speech like from Miracle on Ice.
Right.
But, I mean, there's a ton of talent here. They shouldn't have to be motivated. They shouldn't have to have some sort of a Crispin's Day speech like from Henry V. You should be motivated here. You haven't won a playoff series with this particular team. This is the 6th year of the Shanahan, Dubas, Matthews, Marner, Nylander era.
Right.
You shouldn't need to have a wily 38, 39-year-old veteran like Jason Spezza have to say what you need to do. You should be going out and doing it. Now, I give them a whole lot of credit because, based on the way the series has broke down, whoever got the lead in each of the 4 games won the game.
Right.
This one went against the blueprint. They come back from 2-0. They take the lead. They give up the lead, and then Matthews and Marner combine for the game winner.
Right.
I give them a ton of credit. But and I didn't have to say this. Sheldon Keefe said it after the game. That game was great. It's completely meaningless if we don't finish the job.
Right.
We don't go to Tampa and win in Tampa, or go to Game 7 and win there. I mean, honestly. Right now, the Leafs should go out on Thursday in Tampa with the throttle wide open and say, okay, we've got a game to fall back on. So let's go in 5th gear. Let's put Tampa on the defensive. Let's kick their butt. But will that happen? I thought they were going to do that in Game 4, Norm, and they didn't show up in Game 4. So and that Tampa, with that championship pedigree, even though they have played mortal this year, and this playoffs, that the pride in that team and the talent on that team is going to show up in Game 6.
Right, and teams have won Stanley Cups having been down in not just first round series, but second, third, semifinals. It is what it is. This is the Convo for Oak Ridge Ford in London, Ontario. OakRidgeFord.com. Norm and Mike, let's just do a quick roll call. Larry Pakulit, let's all enjoy this playoff run. We have Colin M. What's up there, Colin M? V's, Buonasera. Yeah, baby. Vito from Woodbridge. Vito, great to have you, brother. We have David Abrul Puranam. Do you think Tampa's style is more conducive to the Leafs winning compared to a defensive, tougher team like Boston? Seems that way. Leafs are up 3-2 in this series and could very well win in 6, very well lose in 7 right, Mike? And then what will we say about it? But, Dave does ask an interesting question. Are these two teams a lot alike? And it really is just kind of a bit of a figurative slugfest, and perhaps the Leafs are going to get the better of Tampa here in the end?
They're similar. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that they're very top six heavy.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Tampa had a third line that basically left either via free agency trade due to salary cap reasons.
Yeah.
And they reloaded, and I think like guys like Nick Paul played really well in this series, and Brandon Hagel. But they're similar, but I think there are distinct differences. I mean, the funny thing is, and I think I heard it correctly, the save percentage of Jack Campbell in this series is under 900. It's like 890 something. The save percentage of Vasilevsky is 880. Something's wrong there. Either he, we talked about
that's good for the Leafs.
It's great for the Leafs, but the thing, Colin M in the chat says he looks very human. I mean, he played a lot of games this year, a lot more than he normally does. Right. So, maybe he's especially with the compacted schedule, maybe he's got Freddie Anderson disease. Maybe he's worn out after playing way too many games. But the problem is,
the Leafs did come. Sorry, Mike. The Leafs did come at him really hard in the second period. Tampa still had the 2-1 lead going into the third frame, so he looked really good in that circumstance. The Leafs just spearheaded by Mr. 88, the Leafs were able to overcome it. He did look really good in that second period, but at some point, the bubble's going to burst, and maybe it has.
Well, I mean, in the past,
right,
Vasilevsky has come up big. Now, what's the record? I think it's 15-0.
Yeah,
after losses. Okay. And this is where the last show
patterns were meant to be disrupted there, Mr. A. We all know that. And that's what happened in game 5. The Tampa took a 2-0 lead. Every team to this point that had a lead in this series won the game. Yep. Not in game 5. The Leafs, finally changed the direction of things. We'll see if they can put it away, right? Mike, you said the 2 words that are very important. Show me. Show me. Show me, show me, show me, show me.
Yeah, it's like, the mantra of the Maple Leafs going into game 6 is step on their neck and kill them.
Right.
That's what you have to do. Now, if you don't do it, then it's game 7 on Saturday night. And you tell me that anybody in Maple Leaf Square in Toronto or anybody in the building at Scotiabank Arena, whether you're media or whether you're fans, are going to be confident that the Leafs will come through in a game 7 when they haven't come through against the Habs last year or Columbus or Boston. Avoid that. Kill them. Go down to Tampa and beat them. And if they don't, then they have something to fall back on. But I don't think anybody's confident about what's going to happen in a game 7.
So if we dial it back a year, was it the overtime game 5, where the Leafs they tied it, and then Montreal won in overtime, and then
5 and 6.
Well, exactly. That was. I mean, you could feel the air coming out of the.
Well,
the Maple Leafs engine at that point, and they lost their nerve, and that was it. Here we are, game 5 a year later, the Leafs down 2-0. They had a spectacular third period and just overcame it, won the game, and now are in a position to advance for the first time in what seems like forever. Before you go on, Mike, and we can continue the show tonight as long as you really want. My wife's happy with me for now, so I'm not having anybody nagging at me. God bless her. Chris Daniels can't make it for the live, boys. He thought Matthews played his best playoff game. Just 1 point, the game-winning goal. I saw him throwing his body around. He 5+ minutes on the power play. He was right there with Marner for total ice time. Again, throwing his body around, like hitting guys and just kind of saying, I'm never mind me being reactive. I'm going to be proactive, especially when I get a sense that these guys are starting to look and feel vulnerable.
Well, I mean, the hit on Sergachev was, it's funny because the player that Austin Matthews was in the first 3 years of his career, you expect a maturation of a player. He was not very physical early in his career. He's a big kid, a lot of, speed, strong,
right
on the puck. Now he's added that physicality that He's 6'3", 6'4", over 200 pounds. He's fast. And
he's protecting himself in many ways.
He's protecting himself, and he's being proactive. He goes in the corner, and he hits Sergachev. I thought it was clean.
Right.
And Sergachev had his bell rung. You can't push around Austin Matthews. And now the funny thing is, early in the game, and I don't know if the Hockey Night in Canada cameras caught it, he was getting ragged out by Patrick Maroon, and nothing happened, no penalty, nothing like that. But it was so similar to the whole thing that happened with Sherratt last year. The difference is that in this year, where everything is being called, if you sneeze, you get a holding penalty. That he's gonna try to goad Tampa into taking stupid penalties. Last year that wasn't the case. Last year it was really tough to get a penalty. Now it's you just breathe and you get one.
Right. Let's just continue through here. We've got Rab. The Leafs are winning the cup. Convince me that I'm wrong, Mr. Augello.
Rab, so I hope Mike, you're right.
Let me scoot through them. Rab is just juiced, right? He's jacked and juiced, wasted on the blue and white liquid, which is like, if you're just a fan and you just want to see your team do well, and you're with the ebbs and flows, and you're letting the past be the past, and you're optimistic about the future, after last night, how can you not be excited? You and I, again, accused of being jaded and even to the point of where we don't want the team to win. It's just total bullshit, but we put ourselves out there. Lamb not finish it in 6 like the Raptors did in 2019. Andrew Walters, can the Leafs show up for the first period again tomorrow night? I can't go through that again. Jeremy Dubb, OG, eating my words after that game. Last of Us clips. Spencer shouldn't have had to make a speech in the first place, but he did. Will 85, Mike the Mr. Negative. Come on, man. Calling him. Momentum changer. There you go. First time the team that scored first did not win. B-Rig, Jack's fragile though. Again, this is a lot of like uncharted territory for this guy. Vasi looks very human. James Janke, this could be the moment that we all wanted. Let's see if we can find somebody new. Corey Parrish, I think Toronto's eagerness to win trumps Tampa's quest to repeat. Very philosophical there. We got Mike V. Spezza scores OT winner tomorrow. Wouldn't that be phenomenal? Would he even be out, I guess, for a couple of minutes if they had to, I don't know, would he even get a chance to play depending on the situation, right? We got a lot of people in there. Arnav Bardwaj is in the mix. They didn't give up. Yeah, guys, we're getting so many comments, so I'm just going to have to get back to the show. Yeah, Mike, this is, if the Leafs were down, I'd understand a lot of trepidation and concern and nerves. Look, show me. Let's see if you can finally get over the hump. You haven't been able to put away a game 6 against Montreal in 2019. Let's not forget the Leafs were up 3-2 on Boston, and they had a lead after the first period. And then it all fell apart. But as much as I want to, I'm cautious. I'm optimistically cautious and cautiously optimistic. Maybe, look, the Boston Red Sox took 86 years to win the World Series, right? The Blackhawks was 50 plus years or whatever it is. I don't know. Why not us, Mike? Why not us? Why not now?
Well, let's tackle one thing at a time here. Let's not, right now it's game 6 and beating the Stanley Cup champion. And, the encouraging things about game 5, because some people were mentioning it, John Tavares broke through, had a really good game, scored a goal on the power play, made an incredible pass to Morgan Riley to tie the game.
Yep.
So he was central in the comeback and in the victory. Mr. Nylander, Dr. Nylander, it was Mr. Willie in the first period because he takes this absolutely brainless penalty, tackling a defenseman in the first. He's
not scoring, Mike. He's not scoring. What is he, right? He scores. He's proving his worth.
Gives Tampa the power play,
right?
Then comes out of the penalty box and on a breakaway and can't beat Vasilevsky. So his first period was Mr. Willie. The rest of the game was Dr. Nylander. The rest of the game in the second and third period, he was really good. He was, forceful. He, on the Riley goal, he's the one who carried it into the zone and got it to Tavares. His shot on the goal that was the go-ahead goal was fantastic. I mean, that is, people don't want to hear about this. That is the thing that's infuriating about Nylander. He is so unbelievably talented, but he's one of these guys that disappears. Right. And it's like, okay, so
he's paid to score. That's it. He can't do anything.
But no, he cannot. He cannot be.
It is what it is, man.
He has to be more than that.
But he can't. But again, he
can't.
He doesn't play in the.
He shows that he can. And that's the problem. He shows what he can be, and then it disappears.
Just look again. If he's driving the line and he's driving the play, he's such a fast skater. He's really good with his stick. He's very creative. That's what he is, man. He's the 80. He got his 82 points. Defensively, he's not out there in premier defensive game on the line minutes. Okay, because that's not what he's paid for, and that's it, right? Again, I mean, it is what it is with this guy, right? This is a crew. It's ride or die with the entire group of them, and it could be a lot worse. Now, the Leafs were able to come from behind and win a game, the first team to do that in this series. Can they win again in Tampa? Right, Mike? And so it's just setting up for tomorrow. The thing is, on paper, why can't they win? On paper, sure they could lose. Is there something intangible that we're not discussing that we just don't know? Is there something divine? This is crazy. Is there something divine that may ignite some success here tomorrow? Because it's been a long fucking time since the Leafs did anything in the first round. Here we are once again with a chance to right the wrongs.
Can the Leafs win in Tampa? They did already. They won.
I know. I'm saying, can they win again in Tampa?
But I mean, that's the formula. What did they do in Game 3? They jumped on Tampa. They won every puck battle. They hustled. They were opportunistic. They were up 3-0, and then they sort of sat back and allowed Tampa to get back in the game. But in the end, they get the 2 empty net goals from Mikheyev, and they win Game 3. That's the winning formula in Tampa. That's what they have to do. Now, if they do what they did in Game 4, they're screwed, because all they did was they allowed Tampa to get a goal early. Whether it's Justin Hall being out there or whatever, it was 60 seconds into the game, Stamkos scores. By the time you blink your eyes and it's 8 minutes gone in the first period, it's 3-0. So you want the formula? There it is. Jump on them. Get physical. Get quick. Win puck battles. Win stick battles. Score goals. If you do that, you have a chance to win. But expect Tampa to come out with their hair on fire.
Yeah. This is the Convo. Guys, thanks so much for being here. We got 60 people in the chat right now, hundreds and hundreds, thousands listen to each one of our shows as we push forward here in this final voyage for the Convo, and it goes as long as the Leafs season. So if what we do in our gatherings mean a lot to your life, then keep your fingers crossed that the Leafs can somehow get through this round and find another gear. The Leafs really won't know what they're made of until they can just break free of the first round shackles, Mr. Augello. And at this point, we can analyze it any which way we want. Now,
uncharacteristic of me. Here is an optimistic note.
Right.
Okay. The Leafs, if they can win this series, they play the winner of Florida-Washington. And right now, Florida is losing Game 5. They should have lost Game 4 in Washington in overtime or before overtime. Mm-hmm. Washington is beating them 3-0 as we record right now. If Washington beats Florida, then they play the Capitals in the second round. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm just saying that's easier than playing Florida. Yeah, but
really, Florida was the number one.
Go ahead.
Florida was the number. Did they win the President's Trophy?
President's Trophy, yeah.
And they're having trouble with Washington. They're a fraud. You know that.
Oh no! Hey, you talk about the Leafs not winning a playoff series since 2004. Florida hasn't won a playoff series since 1996.
Have they been in the playoffs that much?
A few
Right?
times,
Yeah.
not as much as Toronto.
Again, that's the thing. And anytime you think the Leafs are better than, the Leafs don't show up. And we saw that during the regular season. How many times were we doing shows after a game against your beloved Sabres or fucking Arizona or Montreal or one of these teams they always play down to the level of, right? And now they're taking on a team in Tampa that's the back-to-back champion that we all respect and laud and revere so much, and they've got the champs on the ropes. There was a couple of comments. I think it was Cal Morale. He said, "I'm pretty sure they won't start on time tomorrow." That's just so integral. But Maroof Lackey says he thinks they can get it done tomorrow. So how important is a fast start? Leafs go up 2-0 in the first period. Does that put Tampa on its heels, or again, connected to the entire game? Does it really matter how well they start? As long as they're playing consistent throughout, they give themselves a chance. Because I always worry that they might come out gangbusters and then Tampa ignites in the second period. What say you, Michael?
I would rather be up 3-0 like
right.
Game 3 than down 3-0 like they were in Game 4. So is a quick start important? Hell yes, it is. Because that the fans in Tampa, if they get a 1-0, 2-0 lead, they're going to be, it's going to just be a sort of a swamp of emotion. They want to win 3 straight cups. That's their motivation. They want to do that. They still can do that, but the Leafs are going to have to be the better team. They can't rely on Jack Campbell to stand on his head. And I give Campbell a lot of credit. After they fell behind 2-0, there was a TV timeout, I think, and Spezza was sort of bucking him up and talking to him on the ice. And after that, there was a I think it was a 2-man advantage, but there was a couple really gilt-edged opportunities that he stopped, and he was key for the rest of the game. They need Campbell to be like that, but they can't rely on him to be Terry Sawchuk to win a victory. They have to be able to play a complete game and make Tampa pay and go win the puck battles and win the stick battles. And if they do that, they have a good chance to win. But sometimes this team all of a sudden just disappears, and that's not giving away any credit to Tampa Bay, because I expect Tampa to be good, but the Leafs have to be better to win.
There's some discussion about the lineup for Game 6.
Same lineup.
Good call.
They're not going to change.
Good call.
I think it is for one simple reason. The way the officiating is calling these games, you don't want to put Clifford. You don't want to put Simmons in the game. I personally would go back to Liljegren, but I think the reason that they're keeping Hall in there is, like you said, you talked about Hall killing penalties and how many minutes shorthanded he was getting. If you're going to have a lot of power plays, you want that big body right-handed defenseman like Hall clearing the front of the net.
Right.
And he's better doing that than Liljegren right now. I think Liljegren's a better defenseman, but that's the reason that Hall is in there on the bottom pairing. So I don't think they're going to change a thing.
Well, if someone like Hall doesn't have to overextend himself,
right.
He does his part, and he's effective at a higher level. Someone like William Nylander, again, if everybody else is playing defense and the team's in a good position that way, he can just and all is required of him is creativity and offense. Then he's great. If there's more needed, if the chips are down, if other players are gripping it too tight, and he's required to play a 3-zone 200-foot game. We're all going to be pissed off at him. But if he's doing his part and everybody else is contributing in their own way to their strengths, then again, the entire team can be successful. And that's the thing. Mike, you were at Game 5. Mm-hmm. Watching the second period, Tavares scores to make it 2-1, and then they just threw everything at Vasilevsky. And he was making some big saves, but man, that arena was really, really electric. That's what it's all about. Can you imagine that bottled up and amplified a few times over as a playoff run would continue on? Man, oh man, giving people like us a little bit of a reminder of what it was once like. and then a lot of young fans new to any kind of success, what it can be like. You know what I'm saying?
I was not at game one, but I talked to people who were, and they said that the reaction of the crowd for that game was Raptors-like, was, you know, just a tidal wave of emotion and positivity. Wow. Of course, I was at game two, and that was not even close to being.
But last night, though, in the second period, they were coming out pretty hard, and the crowd could sense the Leafs weren't done. You know.
Well, okay, I said this. I said this on Twitter. At the beginning of the game, you know, they were trying to whip up the crowd, you know, get the towels going and whatever. And I sensed a lot of apprehension, a lot of tension, because I don't think there's a great deal of trust in this organization on the ice to come through. Now, when they started playing really well in the second and third period, I thought the crowd reaction was really good and really interesting and really excited. And you saw on TV the reaction in Maple Leaf Square. They're going to need that if they're going to go deep in the playoffs. They're going to need the fans to be able to step up. And I said Raptors like. I mean, you know, I've only been to a few Raptors games, but it's a different thing. It's you know, you have baskets and 3-pointers made every 15, 20 seconds, so it's not like you're going to see that kind of situation with a hockey game. And you can't avoid the fact that this is an intelligent fan base who's not going to react to things like other fan bases do when the game, and that's perceived as all that the Leafs fans are quiet. No, they just know what's going on, and they only react.
Do they?
Yes, I definitely think so. Yeah, I don't think I don't buy this bull crap that it's a corporate audience. I think it's an intelligent fan base. You know, now.
But we interact with Leaf fans all the time.
Yeah, but
considered to be unintelligent, and then some, right? Based on just the malaise and the haze that, that affects the way they're thinking of the team at any particular time. Again, it's a large, complex fan base. Again, I'm making it as the comment as an aside, right? But I get your point, though. They're not all suits like they were back on, Carlton, right? You know, it was, and
social media is a cesspool for negativity, and I should talk to you since I'm, but that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I think you will see. Okay, God forbid this happens, but I'm saying if the Leafs lose game 6 and lose game 7, how many friggin' trolls will be out there on Twitter, with the 55 years and counting, and you'll just have all of this crap. I mean, that's just that's what social media is. It's a cesspool.
Yeah, and that's I mean, it is what it is. What are we? We're not as social as we used to be. You're in the media now. I'm formerly of the media. This is kind of like media, so we just do what we do. We're the Leafs Convo, right? I mean, I could editorialize and go on and defend you and defend us. We are who we are, and anybody who's like, so the other thing too I notice about this, Mike, and we'll talk here. I find that the comments, I interact with them more than you because I run the page, I run the whole podcast. A lot of people don't even know that, right? They just think it just appears. Not giving myself credit, but this is what I do to keep it going for you guys at a cost. We don't make any money. Let's just put it that way. But a lot of times it's somebody inflating or inflaming one thing that's said, and they tell us to fuck off and die and burn in hell, and not listen to anything else. Like, I could be pouring my soul out about how I lost my job and my kids can't be fed. People don't listen to the totality of what we're talking about. It's just one clip and then that's it. Someone checks out and they don't listen to the whole thing. And it's like, you guys are so fucking negative and terrible. And I'm at the end of the show going, go Leafs, go. We can get this done. People cherry pick what they want to hear, right? And I think at the end of the day, all we can do is continue to be ourselves. The ebbs and flows of the team are represented in how we describe what we see and how we react to it and how we set up for what we believe is to come. We've always been this way. And I would just say to anybody who's new to the show, who really loves this show and who will be a part of the show for a long time to come, even as we kind of turn the lights off, go back and listen to the way we used to talk about things there's no real big change to who we are and how we've been. And we've been doing this for years and years. Back when I was in my 20s, when I was a younger guy, 30s, 40s, it's the same thing because we're getting a lot of the same stuff from the team that we care so much about, just as much or more so than anybody watching, right? We just respond in a different way.
The thing I mentioned on the last show, I had somebody, tweet me and say, boy, have you changed, something about it being negative compared to the way I was when I called Leaf Talk
right.
Frost. And I'm like, the totality of the 15 or 18 years that I called Leaf Talk was this team sucks. I mean,
that's why I reached out to you
when they were good, when they made the conference final in 99 and 2002, I gave them plaudits, and I was a fan at that point, and I'm like, okay, well, I think they're going to do this right and that right, and then but when players played badly or the team played badly or they made stupid moves like trading 2 first-round picks for Phil Kessel, I buried the Leafs. It's like, okay, nothing has changed. I can't be a pom-pom waving fan because I'm a reporter, but I can be critical and I can give credit when credit is due. This team deserves credit for the way they played in the second and third period. They deserve to be buried for the way that they played in Game 4 and in the first 20 minutes of Game 5. And if they lose in Game 6 and they don't show up in Game 6, I will bury them again because they deserve to be. And if they win it and they play a game, and Anush Patel in the chat says the right thing. Until they win the 4th game, our team, not our team, but he's saying this, our team does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. Plain and simple. We all love and live and die with this team, but it's time for them to just get the job done.
Anush, the man, the myth, the magic. Hey, leave it to Patel to be philosophical and put us all in check. That a boy.
You can't say it any better than that. And I'm just saying, it's like, okay. And I know the wording was key to the uproar, but okay, after Game 4 and after the Leafs played Justin Hall at the beginning of the game, and Steve Simmons goes out and asks the question regarding Justin Hall, and he said, why did you start your game with your worst defenseman? And Keefe rightly defends his player, but objectively, if you're looking at the Leafs roster, who's the worst defenseman? It's Justin Hall. It doesn't mean
a sensational way to. The question was phrased sensationally. He works for a sensational paper, right? And there was
not a wrong question.
No, I know, but this is the thing too. Like, I find that Leaf fans, being in Canada, where we are, we're very kind of a very socially minded kind of people, and
you guys are too nice. You got to be
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not. I mean, go to Philadelphia. Right, go to New York, go to LA. When go to Europe, go to England. Right, that kind of question is common here. Oh, dare Steve Simmons! What a terrible guy. Am I the biggest Steve Simmons fan just historically? No, but again, this isn't really about Steve Simmons. He asked the question. The way he phrased it was kind of disrespectful, but too bad. Sheldon Keefe can deal with it. Mike, I wanted to ask you here. Tampa, talk about Maroon and Perry and these cats and being in physical and stuff like that. I guess if the Leafs were down 3-2 and on the brink of elimination, right? On the brink of elimination, I could see those dudes coming out to try to throw the Leafs off of any kind of tactical skill game that would allow them to overcome the adversity. In this circumstance now, I don't know if it makes a hell of a lot of sense for those guys to try to lure the Leafs into a penalty-filled contest, because there's no guarantee that's going to work to Tampa's advantage. And let's face it, for as tried, tested, and true as they have been, any team facing elimination is going to be gripping it, right? Going to be gripping it really tight. So, hey, we got to say, advantage Maple Leafs. Show me. And that's how we can kind of summarize this show and what we're hopeful for tomorrow.
Well, I'm not sure what resources and reserve Tampa Bay really has in terms of, changing up their lineup. They're pretty much going to stick, unless there's injuries, they're pretty much going to stick with what they have. I mean, Riley Nash, former Leaf, and Jan Ruta, who I think was hurt earlier in the series, are the reserves. So pretty much they're going to go with what they have. And, the job of that fourth line, the job of Maroon and Perry is to stir it up. And like Maroon
down to business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the thing that happened with Maroon yesterday before the game during the pregame skate. There were fans that were sort of yelling and screaming at him, and then he got a puck and he was going to flip it over the glass, and he just decided leave the puck on the ice and skate away. So he's sort of like, hey, like that type of thing. So, okay. And Corey Perry is shooting the puck in the net when the Leaf players leave the ice. He didn't do it yesterday. I sort of watched that but that's that veteran gamesmanship.
Corey Perry, he listen. So I worked in So here's the thing. I was the sportscaster in London from like 02 to 18 or whatever it was. So a lot of people don't even know that. So I was in sports, all the Memorial Cups, all this stuff like that. So when I got to London, Corey Perry was just emerging as a star. And then obviously the 05 Memorial Cup. I went to, where the hell is he from? Peterborough or something like that. Yeah, Peterborough, right? Bob Gainey, you went to the arena, and Perry and Steve Larmer or somebody else with pictures were up there. He hated the fucking Maple Leafs from those early days. Not a fan of the Leafs at all. Way back from the very beginning. So, it's not like a Prost or a Nas. I mean, Nas was a Cavs fan, but then became a Leaf fan. But there were a lot of the Toronto cats who played for the Knights that you would talk to, and I'd be like, are you dreaming of getting drafted by the Leafs? Of course. Perry didn't like the Leafs at all. Does it matter now? But there's still, though, this kind of like F you Leafs. He was never really attached to the organization in any which way, shape, or form. And, he's kind of trying to be a thorn in the side. Tomorrow, he better do it with some points and something positive, as opposed to, just trying to stir shit up, because it may work against them. And if it does, ultimately, that'll be the end of their season, and the Leafs will move on for the first time and for forever. Last word to you, Mike, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I think the most important aspect of tomorrow night's game is starting quick. I think if they start quick, it increases their chances of victory. Even if they start quick and they don't cash in early in the game, they need to start quick, and if they do that, they have a chance.
Yeah. OG's Converse, thanks for all of the comments. Feel free to transfer some of what you have to say or what's on your heart or your mind into the comment section below this post on YouTube. I may put up a poll in community. I got to say, this is a lot of fun right now. We're having a blast interacting with everybody. I get messages all night long from OGs and Converse. It makes me feel really good that we're having this kind of impact on you cats. And I can tell you right now, it's certainly reciprocated. You guys mean the world to us. Just a great group of people. And even those who don't agree with us, that's okay. That's a healthy thing. We don't really care if somebody adores us or despises us, as long as there's a certain respect level. And also, too, listen to the whole fucking show. Not one clip. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but one thing, and then that's it. I'm unsubscribing. It's so take your stick and go home. But don't stop being a baby. Listen to the entire thing, right? I mean, we're not dudes in jerseys, rah, banging the drum, and we can do this. We're feeling like they can do this, and then sometimes we're feeling like they can't. But we're different, right? And we hope that we can reflect what a lot of people are thinking and feeling. Any feedback, let us know. Don't forget to follow this guy's blog, hockeybuzz.com. He's the best in the business. That's why I've hooked my wagon to his star, because maybe I can reemerge in media, being associated with Mike Augello. Mike, anything else, or I'll shut her down?
Just congratulations to Michael Bunting being nominated for the Calder. I know a lot of people out there thought him being 25 and then going on 26 means that she shouldn't be qualified. That's the rules. If you're 25 years old, then you qualify, and he's probably going to lose to Mort Sider, who's a really great young defenseman with Detroit. But I think just Michael Bunting getting nominated after wallowing in the AHL in Tucson for 3 years and finally getting his chance with Arizona last year's statement of the type of year that he had, and I think also a statement on Kyle Dubas being smart and signing him for a couple years and him being a perfect fit with Matthews and Marner. So congratulations to Michael Bunting.
Didn't Rich Amaral win a Rookie of the Year and he was in his 30s or something like that? Do you remember?
Not sure.
No. Hey, real quick, you brought up what's Buddy's name? Miracle on Ice, Herb Brooks. Kurt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
3 best roles. I mean, he's got a gazillion of them, but 3 roles that stick out to me. Herb Brooks.
Jack Burton from
No, wait a minute. No, Santa Claus and the Christmas Chronicles. 2 insane movies. Mike, I know you're Mr. Negative, but come on, please just have a heart during Christmas. Watch these 2 movies. And his best performance ever, I forget his name in the movie, Bone Tomahawk. One of the most disturbing movies in recent memory.
Didn't see that one.
Anybody in the comments, come on now. Bone Tomahawk.
I would
terrible, horrific, awful movie. He's the sheriff. What a legend. The thing about it, he basically plays the same guy in all of his movies, right?
Well, I would say Wyatt Earp in Tombstone. Jack Burton.
Escape from New York. He's just,
Snake
Bone Tomahawk, guys. You want to scare the shit out of yourselves?
Snake Plissken in that movie, and Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. Those are the top 3.
Tango and Cash, baby.
Okay.
All right. For Mike, I'm Norm, OG's Converts. You know where to find us. Talk to you in a day or so.